Hello, everyone. It's Selbi again. And first of all, I want to thank you very, very, very much for your response of my last video. It was a tough thing to get off my chest, but I'm just happy how it turned out, and it feels like such a weight has been lifted off my shoulder because of this. So yeah, I kind of just want to follow up on that with some other parts of my story, some other discoveries. And more than anything, I want to make this video a little bit different than the last one in that I don't want to just talk about my life. I want to sort of act as a cautionary tale. Because if I'm asking so much of your time, the least I can give you is some advice how not to do the same mistakes that I have. So yeah, in the last video, if you haven't watched it, I basically talked about how over the last 2 years my life has pretty much gone to shit because of like cannabis addiction and obsession with Sonic.exe and throwing my life away and all these kinds of things. And today I want to talk about not just that I've become obsessed with Sonic.exe, but why I have. And even though it's related to a Sonic ROM hack, which for all intents and purposes might be completely irrelevant to your life, you probably can still take a few things away from what I'm about to say today. Because under the hood, it doesn't really have anything to do with that ROM hack. It has to do with past trauma, goals, dreams, ambitions, all these things that have been like this thing out there that I wanted to chase and have never really come true. And now I had to take the hard lesson to finally accept that this is not actually what I want. So, to understand where this all comes from, I want to first bring up an analogy. So imagine you're in your hometown. I don't know if they still build tree houses anymore, but let's use a tree house as an example. Like the tree house of cool kids. And you want to be part of that tree house since you were 13, maybe even younger. But you never get in. So you keep chasing that treehouse. You want to do everything to impress the cool kids. You want to go do cool stuff, be obnoxious, like be in some shape or form visible to those kids in the hopes that maybe one day you will actually get inside the treehouse. So what I'm talking about here and why it relates to me is this. That is the tech membership status on Sonic Retro, which is a forum message board, and this particular badge is a badge of honor basically for people who are very skilled at their technological stuff, who know what they're talking about, and more than anything, people who have basically won the game at the community. Here's the thing. I've wanted to become a member of that subset of the community since I was 13. That was my treehouse. And I never got in. I've tried for 17 years. I've tried 15 years of those years were spent making Sonic.exe, 8 different versions of that ROM hack, in the hopes that maybe eventually one day one of these versions would make the cut. But as we all know, it never happened. And chasing that dream has been so deeply ingrained into my mind that it's become a cartoonish level of obsession. So even in the past 2 years, where I was working on Sonic.exe 7 and 8 in complete isolation smoking cannabis 15 joints a day. Even there, like the only thing that I really cared about was getting into that treehouse. But, well, not really but. I mean, even if I was fully aware of how stupid it was, even if I kept telling myself I don't really need it anyway to be happy in life, it just never stopped. The obsession with that stupid badge was so, deeply ingrained that everything kind of revolved around that. It got to a point where I was not even I won the Sonic hacking contest last year. And I already won it in 2012. And both times, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, in both times I felt nothing. There were maybe like 10 minutes of pride, maybe even a bit of a day. But in a nutshell, I was never actually satisfied, because it turns out the Sonic Hacking Contest trophy is not what I actually want. That feels like, okay, now I got this, but what about the other thing, you know? And it's kind of hard to talk about this, because in a way it's pretty embarrassing. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I mean, if you focus so much on just a Sonic ROM hack not even the Sonic ROM, but if you focus so much on a title that it kind of starts to define everything you are, then of course it's starting to be pretty important to your self-worth, especially if you don't get it. But the problem is, and this is the cautionary tale that I want to get to, I realized, maybe I should split it into two things. The first thing is, obviously, chasing external validation will not make you happy. I keep thinking that maybe if I get tech membership one day, I will finally be able to move on from this obsession. But as we all know, external validation will not make you happy. And if you haven't learned that lesson by now, you will eventually learn it the hard way. So the advice I can give you for this is to cut off external validation as your source of motivation in life. The second thing, and this might be a bit more specific, but also pretty much the other important lesson that I want to give you with this, being part of a club is not gonna do anything for you. I've talked to so many tech members over the years, and I always admired them. But this kind of admiration came at a cost which pretty much made them, I put these people on a pedestal. In the sense that, wow, they got tech membership, they must be so awesome and set in life and love themselves and all these other superfluous things. And the thing is, I know for a fact now that most of these people are just regular ass human beings like you and me. They got their own set of problems, they got their own sets of self-worth, doubt, depression, whatever, the full palette. Everybody has it. And even though I don't have the title, and even though part of me still wants that to be the case for one day, I know fully well that everything that will happen is just going downhill if I eventually get it. Because thinking that it will fix me or finally let me be able to move on, that's just not that's not real life. I wish it was real life, but whenever I talk about, or whenever I see people who have this obsession with a goal, or maybe even a better example, let's imagine a CEO who's making $100 million a year. Yeah, sure, these people are pretty set on life when it comes to financial stuff, but it's actually insane to see how many of these people end up getting burnt out. Because turns out just having external validation and even running a super successful company counts as external validation will not be the sole reason for making you happy. Maybe some people are. I'm not saying everybody is like this. But I'm saying the majority of people who think like that are just setting themselves up for failure. So yeah. What I want to basically be able to say with this video is do not chase a title. Do not chase external validation. Do not chase the treehouse. Especially when the treehouse is killing you in the process. Like I was working so much on Sonic.exe with the goal of one day waking up to get that stupid badge. And in the process, I often forgot to have fun with the journey itself. Like making stuff. I mean, a good example of what I mean about this is what happened during the development of Razor 7 and 8. I will not name drop anybody, but there were people who I've actually disgruntled because I thought they were stepping over my turf. But they were actually just trying to help. So, for example, if there was something that I coded and somebody else stepped in and recoded that to be more robust, more elegant, just overall better, then the logical thing that I should have done is say, yes, thanks. We got a better product. But instead, I got jealous. I got hurt. I got offended. Because it felt like somebody is pushing a boulder into my road of getting to tech membership with a small post-it attached to it that says you wouldn't be able to get there anyway. Yeah, and that is definitely one of the things I've recently learned a lot about myself. Like I always knew I was obsessed with tech membership. Shit. Talk about Freudian slip. I was always obsessed with tech membership. But I just didn't realize how deep the rabbit hole went. Like, it's been everything I thought about it some days, and it's gotten to my self-worth, in the sense that I would much rather spend 1,000 euros or forego a promotion or a relationship or a house or whatever, if it meant I could have that stupid label for a fucking Sonic forum. And I think the biggest thing that I didn't want to admit to myself is that I just don't have it in me. Like, I can make good Sonic ROM hacks perhaps, but I just don't have the skill sets needed to actually qualify for that title. I've tried everything I can with Sonic Eraser 7 and 8, and even that was apparently not enough. And if that's not enough, then it feels really hard to continue working on Sonic.exe, because it almost feels like wasted effort. Which is so stupid when you're making something that's meant to make other people happy or give them a good time or whatever. So I'm not saying I'm fully there yet. The primary reason why I'm making this video and putting it out there is so I can show it to the world. Because like the last video, just putting it out there, showing my face on it, making an honest statement about it, just helps me finally moving on. Because I think not just I think, I know the first thing that needs to happen for me to finally be able to move on from that obsession with stupid tech membership is to tell the world that I am obsessed. In the same way that the first step that I needed to overcome my cannabis addiction was to tell somebody that I am addicted to cannabis. It's pretty noble for some people to say, oh, you just don't putting it out there will not change anything, but I really think it does. So, kind of circling around the topic a bit, but that's really all I have to say. So, do not chase treehouses, do not chase tech membership, do not let your self-worth be defined by external factors, and most importantly, if you aren't having fun with the process of creation itself, and instead focus on some trophy, you're doing it wrong. So, that's all I have to say for this. I'm Selbi, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye.